Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to introduce a very exciting project. It's one of my favorite projects to do, if not my favorite. My favorite project has switched up, a lot over the years, but I think this is currently my favorite project. And I loved doing this one last year. I did wrap it up a couple days ago, and that is my Panna palette. It is a project that I've done for years and years and years on my channel, and I am not going to stop anytime soon because, again, it is one of my favorites. So I am going to talk you through the options that I posted in my planning to pan video a couple months ago, just so you can see kind of where the votes came in and stuff like that. I'm going to talk you through all of the options, the least voted to the most voted palette, and talk you through what I ultimately picked. So I'm going to jump into the video, but before I do that, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to have you in the family. Let's jump into the video. So, like I said, I did post quite a few options for Panna palette. If I can find a picture where I wrote them all down, I'll put that here so you can see the options again. But I'll talk you through the options and the votes. And quick little disclaimer, I did decide this year to just go mainly by votes, because last year I did also have voting come in, but I did not go with the top voted option. I went to the second top voter option. So this year I thought I would go for the votes more because I wanted to please you guys, because also I was quite undecided on what to do. So I'm gonna talk you through the options I have. Kind of written them all down, quick little recap there, but I have written them all down and put in the votes for each option. So let me talk you through that. So the palette that got the least amount of votes, I only got one vote, was my Anastasia and Reese palette. So very, very low there. Not gonna go with that, of course. Then there was a couple options that I got 2 votes. So first of that was the Golden Coconuts palette that got 2 votes. The Sweet Talk palette from Colourpop also got 2 votes. And then doing the Sweet Talk palette with Colourpop singles, kind of like a rotating Panna palette, also got 2 votes. So not too much there. The last palette that got 2 votes was the Nabla Dreamy palette. So yeah, that I actually decluttered now, by the way, but yeah, that got 2 votes as well. So after that, we do kind of have a step up at the next rating. It is for 4 points or 4 votes, I guess. And that was my Red Dragon palette from Odensire. That one got 4 votes, so a little bit more than the past couple ones, but still not very high. But yeah, that is the next one. Then I did have a couple people, because in my options, I did have, one of the options was to continue my soft glam palette and combine it with singles. And a couple other people came with their own suggestions, and I still counted those up. And there were 6 people who voted for soft glam palette with other palettes. So I do have some specific options, but with other palettes, I think someone said the soft glam in combination with the nude light palette. I think someone said with the mini Biba palette and stuff like that. So with soft glam combination with other palettes, so any other palettes, like I kind of used to merge them into one, otherwise they would have all had like 1 or 2 votes. So that got 6 votes, so still not enough to win, but yeah, I just wanted to bring it into the attention anyway. Then after that, with 8 votes, we got the Stoned Vibes palette. This was actually a favorite, and it doesn't seem like that just from the 8 votes, but that is because it's coming in later with a different option, which I will talk about in a second. But 8 votes for the Stoned Vibes, so pretty decent amount of votes, but again, did not win. Then for 10 votes, we got the Huda Beauty Nude Lights palette. This is one that I absolutely love. It's the color story, a color story that I absolutely think is perfect for me, so that would have been really fun to work on. But it got 10 votes, so again, not the highest. But yeah, I would have really enjoyed working on that. And I think from the votes, all of the ones that got a little bit higher of a vote, I feel like I would have been happy to work on any of them anyway. Next up, we do have the kind of other option for Stone Vibes. So Stone Vibes, like I said, got 8 votes on its own. And then a lot of people also asked me to combine the soft glam with the Stone Vibes. So kind of combining them too, because I think the like thought process a lot of people had was that the Stone Vibes has a lot of beautiful shimmer shades, and in my soft glam palette I only had mattes left. Well, if you saw my finale, I only have mattes left. So I think that was a theory that I can combine those two, and a lot of people actually mentioned that in the comments. So a lot of people thought of this on their own. I didn't mention it in the video, but a lot of people wanted to see that, so they got 11 votes. And just to be fair on the Stone Vibes, I did also kind of add those 2 up, so the total votes for Stone Vibes would have been 19 points. But again, unfortunately didn't win. So we have something that got even higher votes, but that actually would have come into second place if I combine those two votes. But again, we do have an option with more votes than that. However, we do have one kind of standard palette that come in at third place if you think about Stonewise palette as like coming in second place, and that was the mini Biba palette. So I had the Natasha Denona mini Biba palette as an option to pan, and that ended up getting 12 votes, so pretty high, I would say, compared to a lot of other options on the list. But yeah, the palette, well, the option that won with a landslide was the thing that I was probably most leaning towards as well, and that is the soft glam palette mixed with singles. So like I said, in second place would have been the Stone Vibes, either on its own or combined with the soft glam palette, and again that would have come in at 19 points. But again, with a landslide, this winner of the voting was the soft glam with singles, and that came in with 30 votes. So a very, very, very high amount of votes. And I'm glad with that, because I was a bit worried that people wouldn't want to see like a palette of singles being panned, because I know a lot of people don't enjoy seeing that, but I personally love my indie singles, so it'll be really fun to work on them. And I did actually post a video with like a potential BYOP panna palette, so I did actually film myself pick the shades that I want to work on in here. And when I picked that, I hadn't set 100% that I wanted to work on that, but I wanted to see what kind of palette I would make if I wanted to pan the singles in collaboration with the soft glam palette, because I think it would help me kind of make my decision up. And it did, because I was really, really happy with the selection that I made. And again, considering that you guys really voted for this option too, I'm very pleased to announce that that's going to be my panna palette for 2025. So now, with all of that being said, this is going to be my panna palette. So again, soft glam is not news to anyone. This is my panna palette for 2024. And I currently have 7 shades left in here, and I want to pan this palette to completion. The only caveat is that I might not fully pan the black. We'll see how far along I get, and if I finish everything else up quite early in the year, I might focus on it. But if I don't finish the black, that's fine, because I'm not really that keen to panning a black. I have panned them in the past. But usually with an makeup style, I don't go for super dark looks, so I might leave that one. Again, we'll see. If I start getting into darker looks again throughout the year, I might continue panning it. But yeah, that is going to be the first part of this panna palette. Again, it's going to be a continuation kind of my 2024 panna palette. And then for my companion palette, or my second half of my panna palette, is going to be not necessarily a companion palette, because it's also going to be equally as important. It's going to be my BYOP, and I'm hosting it in this Cleona palette. This one is my oldest one. It's quite grubby now, but I thought this one would work perfectly, because it's probably going to get grubbier throughout the year. I might give it a clean as well, but this is what the palette looks like on the inside. So it does have 9 kind of regular round size singles, and then 3 Colourpop singles here on the side. And it's exactly what I pulled out in that BYOP a couple months ago. It's been sitting in my drawers waiting for the vote to come through and for me to make a decision. And this is going to be the second half of the panna palette. So I have, of course, taken footage of these 2 palettes, and I will use them for my progress videos. Again, with this one, it would be nice to try to finish as much of this as possible. I currently have pan on 5 of these, 3 of the standard size and 2 of the Colourpop ones. So we'll see if I can get through them or not. But yeah, this one I want to get as much progress on as I can, hopefully finish at least a couple of shades. And then with my soft glam palette, I want to finish the remaining palette, maybe not the black, we'll see. But yeah, that is going to be my panna palette for the year. Last thing to do before I wrap up this video is just to talk you through the weight and starting weight for these 2 palettes. So for the Anastasia Soft Glam palette, it kind of continued on for last year. I did use up 6.61 grams last year, and for the intro for 2025, this palette weighs 156.09 grams. So that means that considering it has an advertised weight of 10.36 grams, that means that I have a remaining amount of 3.75 grams to finish up in the palette if I go by like the advertised weight. So that's going to be like my baseline, and that means that I need to finish 0.31 grams on average in that palette in order to finish it before the end of the year. So that is going to be my goal for the soft glam palette. For the BYOP, I don't really have how much I have to finish per month. Maybe I'll aim for like half a gram. That would be nice, but again, we'll see. It might be a bit difficult, but yeah, that might be like something that I put as like a goal for myself, because I can't really compare. I'm not going to add up all of the single individual pans of eyeshadow in there and see what the advertised weight would be. That would be too much work. So I'm going to just go by the inch weight and then work down from there. So at the introduction, that palette weighs 155.73 grams. So that's what I'm going to count off, and I'm going to weigh both of these palettes individually so you can see how much I'm using from the Soft Glam and how much I'm using from the singles. But yeah, maybe I'll put a goal in to finish half a gram on that palette. That would be like 0.81 grams combining the two palettes per month. That's quite a high amount. But maybe I'll give it a go, and if I feel like it's unreachable throughout the year, I might lower that. But I think that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I think that's going to be it. I haven't swatched anything out in this video, but again, I'm going to have the video link down below where I picked out the singles. So if you want to see what the shades look like, I swatched them all out and the names of them and everything, you can check that out. And otherwise, in my first update, which will be up in a month's time, I will, well, I think I'm going to post it on the 30th of the month. I will include the names and of course how many times I've used every single shadow. But in the meantime, if you want to see what's exactly in these palettes, or at least in this singles palette, you can check out my BYOP video that I posted a couple months ago. And again, that will be linked down below. But I'm going to wrap up the video here. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. This is also the first video of the year, which means that if you haven't caught it in my last couple of videos, I'm going to post every single day in January too, so you can stay tuned for another video going up tomorrow. So I'll catch you then. Bye guys.